So today we're going to talk about mastering your mindset, right? Because that's the company name, MasterMindSet, and there are lots of things that actually help you to master your mindset. We're going to talk about mindset factors in professional services.
It's a big one, and I guess the one thing that whoever's book you read, whichever leader or visionary you go and look at, they all talk about the power of mindset and the fact that whether we believe we can or we can't, we'll probably be right. And so for me, one of the key things that I focus on and have done for a lot of years is how to choose my mindset. You know, things are going wrong. If I think I'm having a bad day, I have a bad day. So for me personally, I choose quotes. So I go and look for a quote every day to help me choose my mindset for the day and to realign myself with where I want to go versus where I might feel I'm heading.
I know you're big into these quotes, but it's really tough for people at work and in their careers. When you work for a corporation, it's a very difficult thing. It's difficult because you've got all this pressure, haven't you? And to create a healthy mindset, you really need support from the rest of the business and the business unit that you're in.
I think you also need to be clear with where it is you're heading and what it is that you're looking to do. More often than not, we get sidelined by our own perception, and our perception becomes our reality, like becomes 9/10 of the law. If we believe it to be true, it's true. And more often than not, it's what we're telling ourselves that actually is causing the biggest problem in life. It might not align to what anybody else is thinking. I know certainly for me, when I was in corporate life, it didn't matter how many awards or accolades or amounts of praise I got, I still didn't think that I deserved any of them and still felt relatively hopeless. And that's because you can't always find that motivation outside of yourself if you can't understand it inside of yourself.
It's very tough for a lot of people. And I think the first step with any problem is actually understanding that you have a problem. And for a lot of people, they may not even understand that they've actually got a problem. And that's the thing. I think, you know, when you look at, for example, America and how people are really miserable in their jobs, they did a survey. I think it was 70% of people just don't like their jobs. That's basically what this survey said a few years ago. So if you don't like your job, then clearly you've got a mindset issue because you're not happy and you're not grateful at work. You're not grateful for your job, probably, in many cases. So that's really going to create a bad atmosphere around you, and then you're not framing that in the right way.
I guess some of it can be, if you're really unhappy in your role, maybe what you need to think about is, what would it need to look like for me to be happy in it, and how do I move towards that? Because often we can feel stuck where we are, and we often feel stuck because we don't really know where we want to go. So instead, I did this many years ago. I made one of the largest career disastrous moves of my life. I up sticks, moved across country to an area where I didn't know anybody, bought a house, you know, go big or go home, and started a job that I hated. And I was there for 3 months, 2 of which were my notice period. And I was very lucky that somebody from a previous organisation came back and got me. I realised in that moment that actually I had been busy running away from what I had, not running towards what I wanted. We often think about what we don't want, and therefore when we're in that mindset, when we're thinking about what we don't want, anything else that comes along feels so much better. And we start looking at it in this rose-tinted glasses like I did. And I looked at this, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Right up my street. My name's written all over it. It's sales. I love sales. You know, my background, as you know, for the first 20 years was in sales. But actually, when I got there, it wasn't sales. It was an administration team. There's nothing wrong with an administration team. They do an amazing job. But I was used to going out and having to win deals every single day, every single minute of every day. You know, it was large numbers, big sales opportunity. And now we were in the support administration, where actually our role was to ensure that we onboarded other organizations that were going to be tied agents to us. And that was a lot more detail. It was a lot more dealing with the regulators and the interaction. And therefore, you know, if you've got one on board a week, it was to be celebrated. I'm not sure that I'm the right personality fit for this particular role. So we're going back nearly 20 years, and I feel for them even today. I remember on day one going in and I'd was still waiting to kind of get all my logons and everything, and I answered the phone, and somebody said, "Can you send me a Form A?" And I was like, "Of course, can I have your email address? We'll get it over to you." And turns to the person next to me. I was like, "Could you do me a favour? Could you email a Form A to this address, please?" And we don't do that here. And I'm sorry, we don't do that here. What you do is take this piece of paper over here, and when you fill out your message, you write down that I want to send an email to this person. I put the email address in. I put the Form A that I want to send it to. And I was like, So then you walk over there to that in tray, and you put the piece of paper in the in tray. And then 3 times a day, we go and collect the in tray, and we divvy out the work, and then one of us will action it. And I went, right, okay, let me just check. So I fill out this form, by which point we could have emailed the Form A. I walk over there and put it into a tray, could probably send it the second time. In a couple of hours, you go and collect the tray and divvy the work out. Could have gone 3 times. That is the least lean process I've ever heard in my life. That's ridiculous. And so it totally changed their working day-to-day practice. And what used to take 90 days to onboard, we got down to 28 days because we took out all these silly processes that just been there forever, but didn't actually add any value. But even though we were making progress and you were turning things over, there was an element of actually, what I need to understand first is, what is it I was really looking for? Where do I see my joy? Where is it that I get up and go, as long as this is part of my everyday, then I'm going to be really happy.
Very much so. And thank you everyone for watching, and God bless.
Take care.